For those of you that are unaware, let me fill you in on the scoops. Let me fill you in. It's been rough out here as an anime fan. A lot of people think that Studio MAPPA is the best new studio, because all the best shows go through MAPPA. Freaking Jujutsu Kaisen went through MAPPA. Attack on Titan went through MAPPA. All the big shows go through MAPPA. I know that MAPPA is synonymous with the big hitters. They really grew a lot just over the last decade, because more than a decade ago, they didn't really exist. And now, they're probably one of the biggest juggernauts in the community. So, recently, some people, some animators that worked at MAPPA came out with statements about how horribly they were treated. MAPPA is basically a Bloodborne boss, okay? They're like the Dark Souls boss. Everyone loves them, they're incredibly difficult, but they'll give your ass a pounding if you are up for tangling with them. So let me bring this to your attention for a moment. We are used to a world in a Western society where if something goes wrong, if someone starts bitching, if someone's scamming or abusing someone else, you fucking call them out for their bullshit. Alright? And honest to God, I really feel like that is such a wonderful part about Western society. The concept of freedom of speech, I know you think that it's a basic human right, and I would think so as well. However, it's not the case in most places of the world. It's literally an American concept. The idea of speaking out against your employers or against some sort of juggernaut is basically taboo in a lot of places, especially Japan. You'll have massive scandals going on in Japan behind the scenes, and no one will talk about it. So by the fact that they actually came out and spoke about this, it means it's probably even worse than you are about to see. So ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into the drama. My guide for this fantastic journey will be Chibi Reviews, who just did a thingy covering it, and he's gonna read through this, and I will basically tell you why this fucked me up so much and why I'm so upset. Because Jujutsu Kaisen, it's truly wonderful. It's an amazing show, and there's so much love that went into the animation of this story. And to know that these animators were literally suffering every episode that they were making is just really sad. So, let's jump right into it.
Last few hours, animators back to back, one after another, as you can see here, is now talking about how pretty much Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2's production has flatlined. It is Owarida, as some are memeing on. Yeah. But the point of the
it is Owarida, he says. Yes, let's cover important topics. Yes, it is Owarida.
Matter is that this isn't just one animator, or even two animators. This is a bunch of animators, and industry veterans at that, now talking about this. And when you have what I would consider an industry veteran basically saying, throw your card key in the company trash can when you leave work, FYI, to showcase who he is and what this individual has worked on, they have worked on these shows. Devilman Crybaby.
Oh my God.
Tuesday. They've worked on Fate.
This is a legitimate animator. This isn't just some guy who feels like stirring shit. This is someone who's been doing this for decades. Kill la Kill was 2013.
They've worked on Kill la Kill. They've worked on all the Mob Psycho seasons. They've worked on Ping Pong. They worked on Sword Art Online. You know, they've worked on Space Brothers. They've worked on quite a few shows.
I watched probably most of these shows. That's crazy. Kill la Kill is Studio Trigger. So it's like, he's worked at a lot of different studios, but MAPPA is the one that really pushed him over the edge. Because I always knew that different studios would abuse their animators. Like, the animation industry is like borderline slave labor. It's taking people that love anime and want to do animation as a passion and just putting them into a straitjacket.
They worked on Sword Art Online. You know, they've worked on Space Brothers. They've worked on quite a few shows over the years. They worked on My Hero Academia, like the opening episode that was with the All Might versus Nomu. So, like, it's very clear that this person is a pretty big deal, okay? Definitely not,
This is a legitimate person. This isn't just someone who gets hired for 20 minutes to start editing for Mr. Beast, and then they decide to leave and then say how Mr. Beast is evil just to cancel them and suck some clout juice off of them. This is someone who's really been in the industry for a while.
Someone that's under the radar. Definitely has made some iconic scenes in the last decade. So, when they're saying, throw your card key in the company trash can when you leave work, that's wild. That's legitimately wild. But
it's especially wild because it's coming from a Japanese company. I feel like doing this in America is like, all right, whatever, he's bitching about work, please, that's okay, whatever, everyone bitches in the United States about work. In Japan, this is horrifying. Dude, you don't understand how wild the Japanese anime, manga, idol industries are. There's a whole thing about, there was this idol group where one of the idols was seen with a boy. So as an apology to her fans for being seen with a boy, she was publicly humiliated and shaved in public. That's mind-blowing. That's like, that is so completely outlandish to anyone that, you know, lived in the West. So for him even saying something like this, throw your card key in the trash, this is like tantamount to mega allegations in the United States.
But obviously it doesn't just stop there. You have a bunch of animators that I have showcased before in videos, and even newcomers that I haven't talked about, now talking about the production and Studio MAPPA. It really just goes to show
Brother, that's wild. There's a lot of it. It wasn't just one person either.
On here. And I'm just gonna clear the air. I'm gonna say it. I have been making videos for years. I have been...
So one thing I have to say about Chibi Reviews, kind of to his credit, this man loves what he does. He loves anime. He has literally been making anime reviews for much longer than I had a channel. Like, this guy started his channel way before me. He has been covering the anime industry in depth for a decade. Literally a decade. You know, anime episodes, anime industry shit. This guy's seen it all.
Watching anime for years, even longer than that. And out of all this time, out of this decade plus of me watching anime, I have never seen an animation studio as bad as Studio MAPPA.
So a statement like that means a lot. This isn't some guy who happens to like anime. This is someone who has been actively covering every in and out news and anime episodes in the anime industry for a decade. So him saying he's never seen something like this, that's a real statement.
A lot of the stuff that's going on with Studio MAPPA has now been made public, and there's probably atrocious stuff that happens behind the scenes with other studios that we just don't hear nothing about.
Especially because slander laws in Japan, I think, are really, really strict as well. Like, if they say throw your company card on the way out, because if they'd say that I was abused in the workplace, they're getting sued for slander. I think that's... And no one wants to deal with that, because what are you going to do? You're going to fight a mega corporation?
But in terms of what we know and current information, I would say Studio MAPPA is probably the worst studio I have ever seen for animation. Not because they make bad anime, but because of what they do to their staff. They treat them so badly, it's insane. When you have, a culture, you have workers in Japan that mostly will just, suck it up and deal with it and never speak out about things, speaking out about it. It really just goes to show how messed up stuff is going on in Studio MAPPA. How bad...
Yeah, especially, dude, another example of a Japanese scandal, you could call it, but this is much worse than a scandal, where no one wanted to speak up about it. There was this host club, okay? 2 host clubs. For those of you that are unaware, a host club is sort of a club where you could go and fake date people, kind of. Sort of like it's a fake date. It's a little more complicated than that, but we'll just describe it that way for the sake of simplicity, okay? So in this host club, there was one dude who was a host, and there was a dudette who was a host in a different club, and she was in love with him, so she started paying him for his dating services. They ended up dating. They ended up actually dating, and she ended up stabbing him and almost murdering him because she thought he would end up with somebody else. Like actual psycho shit. And, after all this goes down, she gets arrested, and he posts on Twitter, well, he respects her dedication. What the fuck? What the shit? I could be wrong. I could about like slight details, but that's just the idea of her attempting to murder him, and she gets arrested, and he barely survives after multiple surgeries. For him to need to say that he respects her dedication because he's going back to work at a host club where he's supposed to have a good vibe, that is a vile. Holy moly.
That it really is. So it speaks for itself. And so before you say, why are you attacking Studio MAPPA? That's why. I have never seen a studio do this, where many animators are like this. I have heard of bad production. I know of it. I know which studios had bad production. I know, A1's had bad production. A bunch of different studios.
You know what A1's bad production was? Sword Art Online titty jiggling.
Studios have. But I've never seen so many staff literally risk their career to this extent talking about it.
And I think saying something like this, throw your card key in the trash when you leave, this is literally risking career. Not just risking your career in this company, but this person will never be hired by another animation studio.
I think what this basically shows is any animator that has yet to work with Studio MAPPA and their products
they won't.
is probably going to look at this video.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to avoid that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to work with it. They're definitely going to look at it like that.
MAPPA sitting there, I alone am the honored one.
Like, that's not worth it. Seeing these people literally having mental breakdowns live on social media, that is not worth that. And that's ridiculous. So, let's get right into this, okay? So, what's going on? As you can see, there's a bunch of leaks, or not links that take to, different animators, different directors, their roles, their status,
That's
what they're
crazy.
talking about.
That's wild that it was so many people. Like, if it was just one person, okay, I'd be like, alright, sure. The fact that so many people are coming out about this, and of course not saying anything, actually criminal, just purely nodding to the fact that, because they don't want to actually, get obliterated in court.
What they're saying, etc. What aspect of status.
Wait. Also sent a YouTube link that goes to the song, Can I Put My Balls in Your Jaws? Yo, what the frick? That is gangster energy. Oh my god, it's like when someone says, hey, I'm not abusing you and taking control of you. Oh, let me just show you this YouTube link. That is all that needs to be said.
It's what they're talking about, what they're saying, etc. What aspect they're working on for JJK, or what they have done within Studio MAPPA.
Jujutsu Kaisen might actually get canceled. Like, it might drop mid-season, and then they'll need to, oh god, that's yucky. That's disgusting. Dude, I hope Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't end up taking a hit. I hope some other studio picks it up from MAPPA, honestly.
They're all speaking out about this, and basically, what's happening is that I'm assuming some bad news came in, to where, like, they had to probably get an episode done in a certain amount of time, and now, basically, animators are speaking out about it. Like, we found out a few things. Here, let me find this animator. So this happened earlier today, as you could see. Basically saying bad news has arrived and suddenly overwhelmed. The most boring ending I could think of. The festival is over. Yes, disbanded.
Oh my god, that just looks so sad. You're just sitting there, okay? You're doing your thing, you're vibing yourself, and then your boss comes into you and is like, oh yeah, so we need you to animate a full episode by, tomorrow. That's disgusting.
So my assumption is some form of bad news came in the last 24 hours or even, earlier or whatever. Regardless, is that something's happened and all these animators are now speaking out about it, and it's pretty much worrying because obviously we know this has to...
So this isn't like something that was planned for a while, that they would all drop these subtle nods that MAPPA is evil. Something actually happened that pushed all of them over the edge at the same time. Dude, I don't know what it was, but that must have been vile.
To do with JJK. And to kind of get everybody up to speed, 2 weeks ago, we had an episode, I think episode 15, basically that came out, and it was underbaked. It was not finished. You had a director
I saw clips of that the episode the animation could have been more polished.
A live mental breakdown for the whole world to see. I even talked about it in a video of how he was taking the bullet or the grenade for the entire staff, saying he felt bad that this is what he's going to be remembered by, which is very sad, and he felt like, he should just quit, be done with the art and animation because of it, that he wasn't...
Right, so the animation was rough in one of the episodes, a few episodes ago, and everyone on the internet was just dunking on this one guy for dropping the ball to get the episode out on time. That guy got harassed to the extreme for dropping that ball. Like, holy shit. And I guess that caused all of this to come out. It's like, yeah, I dropped the ball in the animation, but also, I am locked in a cage, I haven't seen my family in years, and MAPPA is feeding me dog food until I get the animation done.
Not able to finish the episode. It literally destroyed the man's very psyche, broke him down bit by bit, which was very sad to see.
Oh, yeah. Imagine getting canceled on Twitter by, like, a rabid fan base of an anime for something you did that you're not even allowed to tell them the reason why you were forced into that position. My god, that's gross.
And obviously that episode wasn't finished. Objectively, it wasn't, clearly. But most people probably might not have noticed it. Some might have. The point of the matter is it wasn't finished. It
wasn't finished and everyone noticed it and they got absolutely annihilated on the internet. Yeah. Yep.
And then we fast forward a week later, which was this previous episode we got of, JJK. It was spectacular. Sukuna versus Jogo. Insane. Absolute
Jogo? Nah, I'd win.
Insane episode. Everybody looked at it, was like, oh my goodness. Even myself was like, oh my goodness. And probably forgot about, the previous week of the animators and the staff breaking down. And the reason why that episode was so good was because there was more time for it to cook in the oven. It was even said that, the episode was given more time. It was already in the works a lot longer than previous episodes.
Yeah, I am no incredibly well-versed person in the world of animators and production and all that. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure that the show needs to be pretty much ready right when the first episode comes out. The idea that they're still making the episodes in middle of the show's runtime is a little wild.
Which is why it was so good. Which is why I said in my video for the review that, you know, imagine if every JJK episode was given that amount of time and how good it would look.
Yeah.
Or even better if it was given more time. It just makes you think. Now that that's said and done, we go to this episode, and there has been a lot of talks. A lot of animators and leakers and stuff have been talking that this upcoming episode is supposedly going to be even better than the previous episode. And it's got everybody shocked. They're like, huh? That everybody is really, really shocked.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing. It might be better. But the question is, how is the episode after that? And I think that what is going on here, what the staff is currently talking about, is probably talking about the episode after. And I'm going to take an educated guess. Just seeing so many people talk about it, production probably just had a flat line. Like, it's completely dead. Like
I'm just sad for everyone. Literally everyone loses in this scenario. God, if only MAPPA would have been more on top of actually just, you know, being relatively ethical in their treatment of their employees, none of this would have happened.
I'm assuming at this point, it's like, it is so rushed at this foreseeable moment that either what's going to happen is the animators are going to finish it somehow, and it's going to make production even worse on them in the future, because MAPPA's going to be like, oh, you can do this and that.
Oh, God, if they do just man up and sit there all day and all night every day to freaking goddamn push out those episodes, that's not just making it worse for them now. They're going to be pushed to those deadlines for everything. Oh, that's just gross.
Or they're going to break, and it's just not going to be able to air. One or the other. Something's going to happen. Something's going to break. And we are at that breaking point where we are seeing Studio MAPPA crumble. The staff is crumbling. I talked about this over a year ago.
Honestly, good shit, though. Like, get out of there. The whole culture of the workplace in Japan, it really stresses me out just to think about it. Dude, like, if you look at YouTube, right, as this little microcosm of some sort of industry, okay? If someone does something fucked up on YouTube, they will be called out for doing that fucked up thing. And they will not be able to get away with it for the most part, right? If I was mean to my editors, they just wouldn't work for me. They would go work for someone else, and that would be it. That's disgusting. I'm so grossed out by all this.
Now, it would only be a matter of time until something finally snaps. It was just a matter of time. And it seems like we are finally seeing
the collapse,
the exodus, or the beginning of the end for Studio MAPPA. Do I think that this is going to be the end? Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2? No. I think they're going to keep making products, production, etc. But I feel like what this whole ordeal is going to showcase to the whole world, especially in Japan, is that if you go to work for Studio MAPPA, you're pretty much working for a company that's going to abuse you, destroy you, rip you apart, spit you back out, and make you wonder why you even wanted to be an animator in the first place.
The really wild part to me is, like, you have the tweet, right? I was disappointed. This isn't fun anymore. I wonder, right? You have people that go into the animation industry, they jump in there because they love animation or anime or something like that. No one becomes an animator because they think that's just a good career move. It's because they have a passion for it. And then they end up as just basically a workhorse, a cog in a massive machine that's just forcing them to just go around with it. And the wild part is, if the studio can continue getting away with spitting in their mouths and making them say thank you for it, they're just gonna keep doing that. So I wish that something like this could galvanize some sort of progress, some sort of way that, you know, people wouldn't just live that way. I don't know, maybe there needs to be some kind of union for animators in Japan. Not that I think that would ever fly, but it's so vile. Dude, as much as we, you know, make fun of the United States, god damn, this would not fly.
And it's going to cause a lot of people not even want to work with them. And I think that as time goes on, they're not going to be able to get the staff they want, because they're literally cycling through so many animators that just people don't want to work with them. They're literally churning them out, putting them on
get out of there.
Just a grinder.
The end of MAPPA. I don't want to ever see another MAPPA animated thing again. Dude, if only a bunch of animators could get together and they could start some sort of new studio. Studio and hentai, alright? It'll be wonderful. And those guys get together, they license some shit, and they animate it the way they feel like with their vision intact. That would be glorious. but I feel like that is so not reality.
Ending them up and going to the next person, throwing the animator into the grinder again, and just continuously spinning that wheel, so to speak. That's what's happening. Like, this is wild. This is legitimately wild stuff. When you have all these animators saying, like, I'll leave you with the word scum, literally.
Right? And of course, they're not gonna directly talk about anyone, just simply because then they're gonna get annihilated.
Saying that the production and the studio is scum, like, that's crazy. Because once again, this is a culture where most Japanese people...
Dude, MAPPA was started that way. Pretty sure MAPPA literally was founded by a bunch of animators came together. In June 2011, Maruyama left Madhouse, established a new animation company, MAPPA. That's just kind of how this works. If you think about it, right? You become the thing you sought to destroy. While you're at the bottom of the food chain, you're dreaming of a bright future. But if you ever become the top of the food chain, you're just gonna become that person that you sought to destroy. Oh my god. This world is so vile.
Speak up. They'll finish their work. They're diligent with their work. They are very just like, we'll finish the job. But when you have this going on, it really just, it says everything. And it's crazy to me how people for years have been defending this studio and all that and thinking like, you're being too...
No one knows. No one outside knows, because people leave the studio and they don't want to spend that time bitching on Twitter. They want to spend that time drinking.
Harsh when you have stuff like this. It's nice. It is really, like, it's nice to see people waking up. It is very nice to see people realizing what's actually happening. You even have people that have always been, like, MAPPA fanboys now even speaking out about this.
You have people that like MAPPA because MAPPA makes good shit. And I'm not gonna lie to you, MAPPA makes great shit. MAPPA anime are fire. They have been so on top for the last couple of years. They've been snatching up every production, making all of them great. So I could understand liking MAPPA, at least the product, but not actually liking MAPPA, you know, the company. It's like saying you like Rurouni Kenshin. You're allowed to like Rurouni Kenshin, the manga, even if the guy who made Rurouni Kenshin is a pedophile. Okay, wild analogy. But you get what I'm trying to say. You could be a fan of MAPPA's creations, but still realize that MAPPA's bullshit. I could absolutely love Amazon because of how convenient it is to order your shit on Amazon Prime and it shows up the next day. God damn, I love Amazon, but I fucking hate Amazon. They treat their workers like shit.
Oh, already. So, yeah, it's crazy. I think the best words to really summarize this is this.
It's Jover! Jover! I can't believe he didn't talk about the greatest part of this entire post. When the animator sent his homie, the YouTube link, can I put my balls in your jaws? That, ladies and gentlemen, summarizes this so much better than I ever could have. This is just sad, shit sad, but the drama had to be covered. I wanted more people to know about it, that's why I'm doing this. But goddamn, whole situation just sucks.
Like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Stay weird, fam!